Video game flash fiction. This is a timed writing game where I'll give myself 90 minutes from now to select one of these Atari 2600 games randomly with this dice roll here to select the column. We'll go column 1, and then we'll roll this dice again to select the row 2, to be able to select the game, to play, to be inspired, and create an intellectual property-free flash fiction story. Read it at the end and maybe critique it. This was the game. Tomcat. No, that's second from the bottom, first column. Well, it's been used, not by me very much. I have tested these games. I have not played these. Well, I haven't played most of these games. I did have an Atari 2600 during my youth. I was there when it was out, and it was an exciting time. But the games in my area was not one of these. Ooh, hold on. Was it going to work today? Well, this is part of the game. I might have to roll again if I'll clean it. These games have been tested, but they've just been tested. Well, that's locked in. This could be disastrous. Well, Tomcat, where are my cleaning supplies? Of course, I did not bring them over today. I'm going to foolishly see if I could just try to reset this. No, maybe not. Tomcat's just not going down today. Well, you know, this is not the first time. I don't think I'm going to put this cartridge back in. Hopefully, we're going to roll again. I'm going to stack these back up. We'll select another one. Because Tomcat, well, may become Atari art. Let's roll for the column again from 1 to 6. Maybe we'll get a story to cartridge inspire a story. We got number 2 right here. Here's our counter. So from top to bottom the row, we gotta go digging again. Okay, let's go to the bottom. Oh, loud. Didn't mean. Okay, well, it's not going to be Tomcat today for today's video game flash fiction. Maybe, if it works, this will be intellectual property free fun. We have Ghostbusters. Not the craziest of art one would expect for a Ghostbusters game. It's presented by Activision. Joystick controller. No, I just see audio visual. Well, let's see. Maybe this one will work. Yeah, that slots in just a little bit easier. Oh man, maybe the Atari's gone. Oh, no, hold on. I saw something there. Uh-oh. This could be video game flash fiction the Atari breaks day. Let me blow on the cartridge. I mean, I've gone through 3. This is the 3rd one. And this is an old light 6er, so it's played more games than I have. Yeah, I think it's gone. Wow. Well, let's write a story about the Atari 2600 breaking. Let me go get my cleaning supplies. Oh, fudge. Go. There are special cleaners for these cartridges, and I have one right now. And now I'm going to have to crawl and reach to get my alcohol. Oh, I guess I didn't have to crawl. 99%. Just pour a little bit on one of these. Scrub off the connectors. Maybe Ghostbusters will work. I've remember when I got this game, I tested it, and it's like I remember at least seeing that all these have been started at one point. But let's see. I had a better way of doing this with the squirt bottle, but might as well make a mess live. There we go. Just need that right there. Okay, come here, Ghostbusters. Rubbing alcohol, connectors, maybe. That's what I'm hoping. Oh man, like I'm seeing it. That's the thing that's crushing me. Like, am I gonna roll again? I'm just having a day. Oh, it's got to be the Atari. Live stream fail maybe. Let's go for another game. Let's see. I'm just gonna randomly select that one because it's close. No, that works. Huh. I've never had 2 games fail on me. Well, oh hey. There we go. Let's turn that down just a little bit so I can think. Wow. That was worth it. That was worth the cleaning. That was worth getting out a new scrub pad. Ghostbusters. An original flash fiction story, intellectual property free, about a game called Ghostbusters. I don't know how to do this. Wow. I'm like... Okay. I don't know how to play this game. I don't know what I'm selecting, to be honest with you. I have to buy stuff. Whoa. This is complicated. I can appreciate that. Wow, I can buy more of these. I just buy a lot. Okay. Okay. I'm pressing buttons. Up and down. Oh, I bought some traps. That's probably good. I don't know what a banana's going to do for me. But I can't... Huh. Man, this Ghostbusters so far. Okay. Okay. Now what? Huh. Well, let's see. This is not fun. I like the let's go game select, go reset. Reset. Select reset. Huh. I'm having a feeling difficulty won't do anything. What if I turn this off? See, this is fun. I see Zool up in the corner. Game reset. Maybe I'll just buy all traps. Alright, let's go. I'm disappointed. I don't even know if I'm writing a game about a game that maybe it's broke. Maybe it needs another handle. Maybe... Why would you need 2 joysticks to play this game? And it's not like it needs to be put in the other slot to work. I've had that happen before. But I mean, this is fun. Let's go back to fun. Okay, let's go there. I'm not gonna. 1985. Man, that's an old game. What happens if the ghosts clear? They just keep going. Look at. I mean, I wonder, like, how do you get back? Maybe you need, like, the pad? I mean, I have the pad. I could at least plug the pad in to see if the pad will do something. Because the second I do that, I'm in this screen. And I can purchase things. That's cool. That's great. I don't know what that is. And a bunch of traps. For $600 a piece. That's not bad. But then the game stops. Let's plug in the controller. The pad. I have little hope this will do a thing. We'll still write a story. I'll still write a story. I mean, I'll look at stream time. I don't have my clock going today. I'm getting lazy on that. I live by it way too much that sometimes I just don't want to truly write by it, even though I've got the stream time up in the corner. And I said 90 minutes, so I suppose that's at least one thing about the clock. It adds tension and dramatic. And drama. And dramatic. How about drama? Okay, can I do stuff with this? No. I don't need the... Yeah, Ghostbusters. This is fun. I mean, it's got to be fun. It's got to be broke. Maybe if I take it out again and blow on it. I don't think this is going to really do a thing that wouldn't already see. It's at least turning on now. Let me press these buttons. Nothing. No buttons here. Okay. So this is the loading screen, and then I hit game reset. I'm just hitting buttons to see if the second controller pad does its thing. No, it doesn't. And so let's just say I want to buy this. And a bunch of traps. Boom. Now what? Now I press buttons and... Yeah, oof. Ghostbusters. Let's go for it. Let's write a story about this. Just the second game, too. I feel so disappointed. And I don't ever want to put this Tomcat game into another Atari again. I think it's maybe even beyond rubbing alcohol to clean. Although it would have been a more fun game than I'm experiencing with Ghostbusters. How do I get beyond this screen? I don't know. Let's figure out a story about this. It was rolled at least the second time. I think the coolest thing so far, I mean, if I turn this off, man, you can jam out to some Ghostbusters theme. But beyond that, there's the second screen that was right there. Where's that story? I mean, this opening screen could tell the story, I suppose. I could just look at it for the next 60 minutes and write a story on it. Because the story about the other scene is boring. And I haven't heard this Ghostbusters theme song enough in my life. Ray Parker Jr., I believe, is the artist. I do appreciate the translation of it into Atari sounds. There seems to be a red building. See, I can't even like move this. That's what like this joystick works. And the pad, no, it's not even a pad game. We got a game called Ghostbusters. So obviously, I have no idea If it's going intellectual property free, there's something called Zool at the top. And they're all floating to this thing, this name Zool. You find out who made it, Activision. David Crane's right here, Boehm, Activision, Pitfall. One of the founders of it. Now has something called Audacity Games. I've got 2 of them. The alien abduction one, I think I'm going to try to write a novella inspired one. I'm still trying to figure out how to game it. But if I were looking at the screen, I'd get definitely that branding of Activision right there. But beyond that, it's a bunch of ghosts. And then the sign, of course, of the Ghostbusters with the little heart right down there. Or a little heart. What the hell was that meaning? The circle with the cross through it. And then I see that little red. At least that red's moving around. Like, is that where, like, Zool's supposed to be at? Like, I'd love it to do a thing. And then I'd love if I went like this. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to buy anymore. I don't want to. All it does is reset the game. Like, there's got to be something after you buy all the stuff you need to buy. Or do you have to, like, buy this in a certain order and then they'll let you go to the next scene? That's super lame. Maybe I can't leave the store because my credit's bad. Like, my game may be broken. So could the Atari. I mean, I need to get one of those new fancy digital ones, and I'm going to because they travel better. And then find someone to pay money to repair and clean the ones I got because I ain't got time to do that. Nor the desire to mess up. It's been many years since I've soldered a thing. And let's be real, the last time I did a lot of soldering was when I was in the remote control cars, and that was about, that long ago. Oh man, now it's making me think. At least 35 years ago. Ghostbusters. So we have the opening scene. Let's go back to. I mean, this is more fun. Let's do the more fun version of the thing. Yeah, it's so hard separating the intellectual property. But it's not that difficult because it's a fancy name. Like Ghostbusters, and looking at this, you're seeing ghosts and you're like in a city grid. Would I know that's a grid though? I mean, no, I mean, honestly, if I hadn't seen the movie, no, that's supposed to probably be like a New York City block. Who knows what it could really be? If for all there's a lot of race games and top-down games. My imagination would go there. Maybe. I suppose I'd have to be supported by some instruction booklet. And then, like, the ghosts floating up to the name Zool. So Zool could at least be a name. I don't know where the hell that actually comes from other than fiction in this story. Gosh. I was hoping for something like boxing or stampede today. Maybe skiing. That's not true. This is fun and challenging. I got 90 minutes. I should get the counter going. It at least adds intensity to my life. And I can see a thing and be judgmental against myself to see how much I failed. We'll start it at the 10-minute right here. There we go. I think I'm not going to want to listen to Ray Parker Jr.'s Ghostbusters theme song much after this. Ray Parker Jr., I believe. Yes. Ghostbusters, the story. The game doesn't work that well. Let's go to the second scene. So I hit the game select or game reset. It gets me here. And then I can select these items and I can purchase them, and I do. But then what happens after I purchase them is the game doesn't do anything else. I don't know if the game's broke. I don't know if I had to purchase those in some order. I don't have the instruction manual. If I did, I wouldn't read it. So I got to think of a story about that city grid and this store where you purchase things. You can buy something called a... I don't even know what I purchased. I should pay more attention. A vac bait. I'm not sure. A vacuum to clean up after yourself, and a trap. I guess from these I would be able to at least have the basis that, if you're buying a trap and you just saw ghosts outside, wouldn't take a genius or someone who's seen Ghostbusters or played this game to probably assume that the trap's supposed to be for the ghost. So I don't know what the vac's for. But really what I maybe like, but can you come up with the whole Ghostbusters intellectual property part? Because that's exactly what happens inside of the movie Ghostbusters, and as well as the original cartoon I think. I don't know if they had traps in the Ghostbusters version, original one that had the ape. Weird tangent, nostalgia, don't need to go there because I got a story to create and I'm lost a little bit in intellectual property land. Maybe there's Ghostbusters. I keep thinking of Dave and Buster's for some reason, which is a adult theme arcade and other types of games. A lot of them with guns and sporting equipment. And I think you can collect tickets to win a thing. That's just because it got the Buster name in it, like Dave and Buster's, Ghostbusters. Like they're for dead people. Maybe they're leaving the nightclub. Maybe there's like the witching hour. Because there's that circle at the bottom. So if we go back, because I only got 2 screens, this game's either broke or really boring. This is exciting. There's an opening scene that I can't even move a thing, even with buttons. Tried the pad. The symphonic nature of the sounds is pretty good. And I think maybe that's it. Maybe these ghosts are leaving something called Ghostbusters, which is some sort of recreational facility that ghosts go to unwind. That's crazy. I don't know if I want to write that, but it's more fun than writing about death and destruction. And avoiding the intellectual property of the actual movie Ghostbusters. Now what's the traps for though? Because this only has like 2. Because I hit select, then I can actually use this joystick to do something. And this is really the only scene I can't get beyond it. I've tried. So for the story I could buy traps, I could buy a vac, I could buy bait. What's this up here? An eye mace? An eye mace. Okay. Mask, mace, eye mace. Like, why would I want to buy these things? Like the bait. I'm trying to trap something. Um, maybe the Ghostbusters are doing a raid on the place. I keep getting back to the connection of Dave and Buster's, and that's so much like hyper media, very unique too. So that like connection would only be for very very selective United States of American citizens and some people who've come to visit once that was a thing. Once when that was a thing. Still lost. What time do I got? Now that I'm keeping time finally. Okay. Let's look at that time. I don't think it's like I don't have a word yet. It usually takes me about 15 minutes. It's taken me nearly a half hour. The traps, the second scene is what's throwing it off. Like the names of these things. Like bait, trap, vac. All these things are. I mean, technically, like is that? It's like I gotta buy this, and then come out even maybe. Like I don't. Maybe if I reset it, maybe that's it. Maybe it's like you just gotta buy even. Okay. Does that get me out of this screen? No. Like this is no pad is needed. And I don't read the instructions. It's part of the game. I gotta be catching ghosts. There's just no other story. I'm busting them. But that's what Ghostbusters do. I mean, I'm not gonna like have catchphrases in this thing. Like, I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Those lyrics from the song. I'm like thinking of them. I should start this. I gotta decide. I think I'm gonna go with the Dave and Buster's. What's the? I'm still trying to think of what these tools. Why? I mean, obviously, this is a shop to sell to bait and trap a thing. Because you literally buy something called bait and you buy something called a trap. Are the ghosts going out? I mean, if I'm going to use like at least very public domain kind of foundational concepts of a ghost, because Ghostbusters didn't make up the concept of ghost. I see a bunch of ghosts, which could be going to a city. I think more of them and of haunting. I mean, I gotta think of Ghostbusters. Let's listen to Ray Parker Jr. a little bit more, at least the Atari 2600 version of it. That's all I got. 2 screens. They're all going to Zool. It's Zool time. That word is on the screen. I'm going to use it. Should I throw in Activision? 1985. It's 1985 at Club Zool. Let's do that. So what's the ghost bust? Maybe it's like now we'll just make it real ghosts because that's what's floating through things right there. I would imagine those right now as buildings. Large, mostly because the movie called Ghostbusters. And then you have that ghost that's in the bottom with the universal sign of canceling something out or saying no ghosts. It's 1985 at Club Zool. I don't know. This is words written because it's been about a half hour and we got this. It's 1985 Club Zool, the Dead. I'm gonna throw in Activision somehow. I gotta use everything I got. But what does the store represent? Like, I'm starting this narrative that almost seems like it's a MTV commentary. They're outside this hoop happening club in New York, and I'm trying to think of individuals' names, like Adam Carolla. No, that was Love Line. My memory not worth going down that path anyway because it's the past. It's 1985 at Club Zool, where the Dead. Activision and Humans. And everyone gets possessed. Possessed? I swear there's another S in there. And you hate it? Should I do second person? If I get a flash fiction story, I have 56 minutes left. I have 2 screens, this one. And some shop like this, where I can spend some cash. So that's where the story needs to go, is they want to stop these ghosts at Club Zool from haunting or hosting inside of humans, possessing them. So it'd be like a possession club. This was real in 1985. And we'll, like, where, New York. It's got to be someplace, at least in my knowledge, in 1985. Where would I put this? What, Miami or New York? I don't know when exactly. So I want to put it Club Zool. I don't want to make up a name because, this really happened. Let's just go to New York. Like it needs more ego, but I would have probably selected New York if I were to create a city. Just more well known. And I've been there. So it's easy for me to fictionalize it. Or at least pretend to. That's part of the fiction. So it's 1985 at Club Zool, New York, where the Dead, Activision, and Humans. I'm going to try to do Activision in it because it's in the other screen that I have to be able to construct the story. And I'll include the money in there somehow. these Ghostbusters want to. It was like a police division. And that's why would you then be purchasing inside of a shop? um, where the dead possess the people, and they possess people with Activision chance. All right, let's go look at Club Zool again. And it goes different places. All right, so here's all the ghosts going to Club Zool to host the humans. And they're going to have the ghosts give them a euphoric drug-like feeling, the human. And in exchange, the human's dances and all the self-consciousness goes away. And all you need is possessed. I think that writes. It will, whether it'll be good or not, we'll see. They do dance all night long in a drug-like haze beyond humility and sharing the joy of being alive. Club Zool. Where ghosts come alive. What time? I got 51 minutes. So Club Zool is where ghosts come alive. Now I have to get into why it's called Ghostbusters. So I've at least set up the scene of where they're going to go bait and trap these things, these ghosts. I think is what I'll do is I'll put, if I don't know if I never knew the backstory of the current Ghostbusters, the actual Ghostbusters that this based this game upon, that intellectual property. I mean, I'd still probably go. I mean, in even knowing it, it's a church, and they're gonna go out and want to capture the ghosts and excise them. So it's more of a religious angle of it. The Ghostbusters. Having recently listened to some review about a book where aliens are Catholics and come and dominate the earth in some way, and I'm figuring that's probably a predominant faith in church in New York. I don't know. I wish I. No, I don't. I don't have time to know everything. I'm not going to look it up because I don't have time to do that, and I don't want to get sidetracked and off on some deeper weird tangent. Already on one of those. So it's gonna be a Catholic church. They're gonna be inside, but they won't be buying it. They're not gonna be in church. There'll be priests though, and will they be making it? No, they'll be buying it. Like they take their donations, and they want to go stop the ghosts before they get in. They can't go into Club Zool, but I think they can at least trap them outside. And so will ghosts come alive? Club Zool, where ghosts come alive. And then that's sort of that scene. And then if we start the game, hit game select, this is the only other scene that I can get to. A scene of purchasing. Some sort of eye mace, I don't even know. But we can buy bait. Vacuum, a vac. I wouldn't know what that is, but then you can buy a trap. And so these sort of priest officers, we'll call them. I think there was some horror movie where there was a person introduced themselves as a priest officer. And I think that's, yeah. I know I've heard that before, but I'm going to use it here. So we're going to have a priest officer. Was it I can even almost, Tom Berenger was the actor that was the priest officer, I'd like to think. It was a movie about around the time these games were created. Generally. My memory fades. Priest officer. Okay, so we're going to have a priest officer, and they're buying bait and traps from, this is 85. I've already defined that up there. Yeah, I mean, I've been to New York a few times, but I haven't lived there, and I definitely wasn't there in 1985. Now I got to think of like all my New York City pop culture. Beach Street. God, the tagging one. And a bunch of other ones. They're just going to go in and buy it at a pawn shop. Because that's where I'd go buy my ghost busting stuff. They got to make it themselves. I just think there's got to be some prayer into that. I think right now, they still have to budget though. They have to buy the stuff to make it. But they are the creators of it, so don't have to have some like other character besides the priest officers. Budget 10% of donations to purchase, not the equipment. They're purchasing the wires, the solder, and circuits. Create a prayer trap. And it'll wrangle in a bodiless, soulless, a soulless body, a bodiless soul. All right. Yeah. I wish this played. Maybe I need... No. Maybe I need to... But you'd want the joystick. Like, I don't think they'd have you unplug the power button every time. There are times where I wish I did have the instructions. I'd be reading them maybe. No, I wouldn't. I'd still be doing what I'm doing right now. Priest officers budget 10% of donations to purchase the wires, the solder, and circuits to create a prayer trap, a pray trap. I like that. Instead of prayer. I was going to have prayer trap. Maybe this would be a prayer trap. I mean, then it'd be like maybe a double entendre that it can not only trap a prayer, but then it can release that prayer to trap a ghost. It traps a prayer. What does it do? Like wrangle? I mean, I'm just don't like now. I'm like thinking there's some spirit lasso, and I just don't want to go that way. I feel like that's probably too close to like what the guns were doing. The prayer, the trap in the movie was the triangle thing, if I remember right, and it sucked them in. And that might work for that. There's no gun here. There's just the trap and the bait. I don't know what the bait is. The bait is... I mean, why? What? Maybe a human that's dancing. Yeah. They tempt the ghosts before going into the place. Priest officers, no, they can't raid Club Sewell. But they can tempt the ghosts floating in. A few people swing and dance, tempting float to Club Zool. Maybe they'll be b-boys. Ooh, yeah, 'cause you always want to get a b-boy. Because they got fun moves. And they'd want to do it on the street anyway. Maybe they wouldn't even go inside. And these Ghostbusters are going to go try to then bust the ghosts going in. And here's the opening scene. I'm going to turn up the music just a little bit. Now that we at least knowing they need to buy some stuff. And then we'll get them moving along. But we have to have them buying a thing right now. Priest officers budget 10% of donations to purchase the wires, the solder of the circuits, and create a prayer trap that traps a prayer. What would a prayer do? If you could trap a prayer, and that prayer trapped a ghost, what would that like? I mean, what kind of word? Like I don't see it being a triangle like in the movie. And I don't want it to be a wrangled lasso. That just seems, that's not like prayer. That's more like science fiction. And this would be like a low tone. Maybe there's some soul that releases like a boom, traps a prayer. I don't know. I mean, I'm just going to say traps a prayer. And releases the prayer. That tempts a ghost into the trap. Alright, so then we have this priest officer at least set up to how they're going to capture this thing. The priest officers build the trap. And collect the prayer during Sunday service that holds the collective soul of those in the church. Officers trap the prayer and wait for Sunday. We'll say not Sunday night. We'll say Saturday night. That's like the Friday night's a little bit much. Some people don't like to go out on Fridays because you just got to rest. You go out Saturday night. So why not Saturday night at Club Zool? There we go. Yeah, on and on and on and on. Now let's go to the next scene. They've already bought this stuff. So police officers know they can't raid Club Zool, but they can tempt a ghost to float to Club Zool. Police officers they disguise, they dress as b-boys. B-boys in Adidas stripes. And short hair. They pop and lock. Next to be like the cardboard, right? Cardboard. So is what will happen in Ghostbusters after they have built their items. They're now disguising themselves, and they're around Club Zool. Let me get rid of these words. And this is where they're going to bust some ghosts. Because at Club Zool, the ghosts possess the humans, and they share a certain state both enjoy. One, the feeling of dancing and being alive, and the other one feeling like they're on a drug, but they're really just possessed by the ghost. So the peace officers know they can't raid Club Zool, but they can tempt the ghosts that float to the Club Zool. Peace officers dressed as b-boys in Adidas stripes and short hair. They pop and lock next to cardboard to spin on back to a pose. Some of the ghosts know the b-boys are peace officers. Peace officers. Priest officers know they can't raid Club Zool, but they can tempt a ghost to float to Club Zool. Priest officer dressed as b-boys in Adidas stripes and short hair. They pop and lock next to a cardboard and spin on back to a pose. Some of the ghosts know the b-boy priest officers. Will trap a floating soul, a bodiless soul. Bodiless soul. With a tempting prayer. Okay, that's the tempting song. We got 30 minutes left. There's something here. I wish there was more to the game. I thought I tested this, and I don't know. I think my video game computing system could be broke. I don't know. I'm gonna look into this after, but I got two scenes. Let's go to the next one. Because now they're out. Now they're busting it. Yes, they're breaking to this, popping, locking. Maybe doing the helicopter and busting out to a backspin and then throwing a pose. Some ghosts know the b-boy priest officers while the trap will trap. Let's trap bodiless souls with a tempting prayer to dance for eternity in a collective soul beyond time. Other ghosts don't know and float around the priests. The officers. Let's just go to the officers. So I don't have to write that out every single time, and someone doesn't have to read it every single time if they don't really want. Other ghosts don't know and float around the other officers. And whisper like wind. And the priest officers say no. And open the prayer box. With I have it. I had some witty reason to be one thing or the other. I'm writing. I mean, prayer trap. Prayer trap. I do like the prayer box. Opens the box lid of the prayer trap. And the ghost is drawn in. All right, that's it. That's the story. All right, well, it's going to be that short. I mean, there's 2 scenes I was given because the game may be the fact that I just don't have the right joystick. I think I do. Regardless, I get this opening scene with a groovy song, and then this scene where I could purchase things. And even if I spend all my money or can't spend all my money, there's no way to get beyond this screen except for by resetting the game. I tried the paddles and I tried moving things around and it just don't work. But there's this story that I have right here. And so let's go read this story. And I think this kind of can be complete. It's very short. But sometimes these things, well, are best left short. Trying to do this Ghostbusters game intellectual property free is also a challenge. For today's video game flash fiction story, inspired by the Atari 2600 game Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters. It's 1985 at Club Zool, New York City. Let's read that again. Man, I didn't put New York City, but I'm going to read over it. Just want to read. Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters. It's 1985 at Club Zool, New York City, where the dead possess the people with Activision chants and dancing prayers, and they do dance all night in a drug-like haze beyond humility. Man, humility, even reasonably spelled like humility, and I wanted to go humality. I mean, obviously, I got to read this again. This is just what happens. I get in some zone of writing, and then I'm trying to switch to being able to. Anyway. Beyond humility and sharing the joy of being alive at Club Zool. Of being alive. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this one other time. And if I mess up, I'll just reread it and keep going. I can always read this again someday if I want. Ghostbusters. It's 1985 at Club Zool, New York City, where the dead possess the people with Activision chants and dancing prayers. And they do dance all night long in a drug-like haze beyond humility and sharing the joy of being alive. Club Zool, where ghosts come alive. Priest officers budget 10% of donations to purchase wires and solder and circuits and create prayer traps that traps prayer that tempts the ghost into the trap. The priest officers build the traps and collect prayers during Sunday service that holds the collective soul of those in the church. The priest officers save the trap prayer and wait Saturday at Club Zool. Priest officers know they can't raid Club Zool, but they can tempt the ghosts that float to Club Zool. Priest officers dress as b-boys in Adidas stripes and short hair. They pop and lock next to cardboard and spin on backs to a pose. Some of the ghosts know the b-boy priests trap bodiless souls in a tempting prayer dance for eternity and a collective soul beyond time. Other ghosts don't know and float around the officers and whisper like wind to them, "May I dance with you?" And the priest officers open boxed lids of the prayer traps, and the ghost hears a distant dance with the collective soul, to be one with that flow and song. Many ghosts follow the song, and few float along in the Club Zool where ghosts can be with another soul and dance. While I'll maybe revisit this story because I don't hate it, there is a hard transition right here. But I think I'm going to leave it. As it is at least fitting with the hard transition between these two scenes that I had, I suppose, to create it. And with it at least in some state of created, let's go ahead and always remember to try to save your creative process. And remember, sometimes you get a broken game. Don't let it stop you from finding another game. And until the next game, try to play fairly.